All right, and we're live, and let's just make sure it's going out okay on the old YouTubes here. Because if I don't check, it won't be. And come on. All right, sounds all right. Okay. Oh man, my fucking mouth is burning. I made myself a quesadilla for dinner when I got home from work, and I had this really great sandwich maker. It's like army issued thing from the 40s. This cast iron beast, like grilled cheese sandwich maker, and also you can obviously make quesadillas with it. I mean, what is a quesadilla but a Mexican grilled cheese? But it's really great. I ought to snap a picture and share it with y'all on like social media at some point because it's a unique little beast. It's some great uncle of mine had it in World War II or some shit. But yeah, I made myself a quesadilla when I got home, and I put habaneros in it, and I put way too many fucking habaneros in it. I haven't had fresh habaneros in a while, and I forgot. The ghost of those things haunt you. Because, they're so thin. Like, there's nothing to a habanero pepper. You cut it open, and it's like 99% air inside the damn thing. So I'm thinking like, oh, this is like nothing. I should put 2 of them in there. You know what? Make it 3. So I put 3 of those fucking things in my quesadilla. I'm not much of a milk drinker, but I found myself drinking milk after that. That was brutal. Great. It is delicious. But maybe not the thing I should have eaten before I sat down to talk with you. So I felt like streaming tonight, even though I just streamed last night, because I had something on my mind, kind of troubling me a little bit. Well, first of all, I should mention that my stream last night, I pissed a lot of you off, it seems. Well, maybe not a lot of you, but quite a few of you. I had people proclaim that they would never watch my stuff again. I had people, a couple of people, doubt my very salvation. If you didn't listen to last night's stream, you may be like, well, what in God's name did you say, Bechtloff? I said something that I had said on here several times before. I didn't think it was some sort of secret. I didn't think I was letting some sort of cat out of the bag here. But I'm not really 100% pro-life, guys. Really not. When it comes to voluntary, keyword there, voluntary euthanasia, I'm 100%, I guess, pro-choice, whatever you want to call it. If somebody is dying a painful terminal death and they choose to expedite that process, that's between them, their doctor, their family, the Lord. It's not none of the government's business. No, it's no moralizing busybody's business. And indeed, if somebody is dying a slow, painful death, I think and they wish to expedite that process, I think to stand in the way of it is outright evil. As for abortion, there are medical reasons I could see it being valid. In the later terms, those are obviously rare, but they do exist. And the first few weeks of it, I don't have a problem with it. I don't know exactly where you draw a line. It's a big old gray area. But if I had to draw a line, I'd say, can you show me there's brain activity? I can't measure for when something does or doesn't have a soul, but we can at least see if it does or doesn't have a mind. Is it a thinking, feeling being? We can at least measure that. So can you show me there's brain activity? So like the morning after pill, I don't have a problem with, for example. I have zero qualms about the morning after pill. None whatsoever. But the reason I brought it up last night, ironically enough, because people are jumping down my throat about this, ironically enough, the reason I brought it up is I was actually mentioning that I'm growing more pro-life. I'm getting pushed, like the insanity of the left, where they, abortion isn't some difficult decision they make. It's something they celebrate. They get a big old boner over. And then the outright infanticide that they support is just ghoulish. And if I had to choose between the current status quo and outlawing abortion entirely, I'd probably choose the latter. So, I mean, I'm mostly on the pro-life side. But but for some of these people, but because I'm not 110% on board with it, I can apparently go get fucked. Which I gotta say kind of surprised me a little bit. And it wasn't a huge amount of people, but it was definitely some vocal people. Kind of surprised about it. And it reminded me of a comment I saw in a video about a week ago. And by the way, folks, I don't always read the chat. These like late night streams, I usually read the chat because we don't have that much of an audience. But like the Saturday shows, or if I got a bunch of interesting guests and all, I don't always read the chat. But I do read the comments. I pretty much read all the comments. I don't think I really miss one. I don't always reply to them. I don't always have something to reply to them. But I read the comments. And one of them a week ago kind of stuck in my craw a little bit. Kind of, I don't want to say upset me, but it definitely resonated with me and perhaps just a little bit troubled me. It was the stream. Let me bring up the title. The title was Tuesday Night Live with the Bechtloff 1/29/19. For those of you playing at home. And in it, I had talked about a little bit about, the Davis feud still. That was winding down. It's mostly wound down now. But, his gay shit with the pagan cult and all that stuff, and laughing at it some more. And then I talked about a comment Roosh had made. And again, I like Roosh. He was a great boss at Reaction. I think he mostly is doing the Lord's work out there. But he made some comment about how like being an ass man when it comes to your taste in women is the gateway drug to being gay. And he said, and anal sex with a woman is a gateway drug to being gay. I guess there's sort of an argument to be made on the anal sex thing, but being an ass man doesn't automatically mean you're into anal sex anyways. I just thought it was really asinine of Roosh. It's like, okay, you're a boob man. You don't need to philosophize that. It's just what you like, okay? I mean, I could philosophize away and say, well, you being a boob man means you're really a man child and you want to suck on mama's milkers. All right. But I don't actually hold that belief. I think, okay, if you're a boob guy, maybe you just like titties. Hey, I like titties too. A bit more of an ass man myself. But I like titties. Titties are fun. But the point is, I was kind of talking about how asinine I found that comment and talking about the Davis thing a little bit. So that's the context of the stream in question, which you could go back and listen to it if you haven't. Pardon me, snorting like DSP over here. My nose is honestly a little runny because of that fucking quesadilla. It was great, but I'm gonna be farting blood tomorrow. Like I said, it was the 1/20. It was the January 29th stream. If you want to check it out. But anyways, a commenter, let me look at the comment here. Sick Fix, FIXX, had a comment where he said, "You'll fight with Forney over something next, Bechtloff, and you'll be right to do it. This is a guy who claims to be pro-white and about traditional values, yet lives in the Philippines. No, he doesn't. He lives out in Europe. Whatever. It's your active nerdhood that makes you more endearing than all those other guys, but it's also what keeps you from fully assimilating Into the Roosh V subset / transgressive traditionalist collective. You're too honest about the things that make you different, unlike those other guys who simultaneously claim to hate thoughts, but also believe your primary goal should always be to chase tail and make babies. And I responded to it. I said, Forney and I might have our differences, and in fact we have, but unlike another person I used to know, I doubt Matt would spurg out over one and then join a cult. And yeah, Forney and I have argued stuff on live streams, and I enjoyed doing that. I had him on, because he was doing all sorts of gay counter signaling against Black Friday, so I had to show him the true meaning of Christmas. But no, he was going off about it's consumerism, and I'm like, I like the fact that people are buying gifts for other people, and yeah, I know there's some gay consumerism, but I like the shopping season of Christmas. So Forney and I aren't above arguing. I like arguing with Forney. So yes, Forney and I will likely butt heads again about this or that issue. But I don't believe it's going to result in a falling out. I don't think Forney's that thin skin. And I don't think some of the criticism of Forney is fair in this comment. But nonetheless, it's stuck in my head. The meat of it stuck in my head. Because he's kind of right. Inevitably, I'm going to end up arguing with Forney about things. Now, Forney's a big boy, and he's not going to spurg out and join a pagan cult. We'll argue. We'll have a live stream and hash it out, and it'll be a grand old time, and I'll probably have fun with it. But I always find myself like half in a group. I always find myself with one foot out the door, as it were. Davis Arini, not the real Davis Arini, in the chat says, "Why do you like murdering babies, Bechtloff? Is it ritual sacrifice for your Bulbasaur cult?" Bechtloff, you're just not cathartic enough. I love the fake Davis Arini. I got to get him on here again. That was hilarious. But anyways, getting back to it, it kind of, because I kicked it around a little bit today, all people spurging out on me. And again, I was a little taken aback by it because I was sort of saying to the pro-life people, hey, I'm kind of coming around more to your side than I ever had been before. And like I said, because I'm not 100% on board, I was kind of told to get fucked by a few of them. But it kind of had me thinking about I've never really 100% belonged in a group or a subset. Like growing up, I grew up in I don't know. I kind of refer to my personality a bit as amphibian. As a in the sense of an amphibian is in the water and on land through parts of its life. There's a Marvel character, Namor, who's basically Marvel's Aquaman, but half Atlantean, half human, and he's been written very inconsistently over the years. Sometimes he's like death to the surface dwellers, and sometimes he's like joining the Avengers. And one writer had a really brilliant explanation for that inconsistent writing. Where they explained it because he's half human, half Atlantean. If he doesn't spend approximately equal amounts of time on dry land as he does underwater, he starts to lose his mind and act all erratic and batshit. So I kind of view like I don't ever fit in anywhere too long. Yeah. When I was a kid, growing up I grew up in a town called Waldorf, and it's the most suburb that ever suburbed. Um, every place that wasn't developed was very deep woods, very dense woods, but it was also very heavily developed in sections. I could ride my bike to a really nice community pool, all my friends' houses, my school, a mall, like 4 shopping centers, including a movie theater and a comic book store and just all in restaurants and all within bike riding distance, all like 5 miles tops from me. And at the same time, like I said, I also had these very dense woods, and I loved, going on nature hikes and shit as a kid. I loved if I found a path in the woods, I loved just seeing where the hell it went. Um, so I sort of got the best of both worlds in that regard. And growing up, it was a bedroom community for the Air Force Base, so it was still mostly white, but it's had its share of vibrancy. And I used to hang out with the black kids and listen to rap music, even though my boomer dad didn't want me listening to rap music. I loved hanging out with the little ghetto, the little wannabe ghetto boys and shit. I also liked hanging out with the white kids and doing the white kid stuff. Um, I had a lot of different kinds of friends who I could basically never get them all to come over at the same time, or they'd hate each other. Like I said, I'm never 100% in any of these groups. I just never find myself 100% on board with it. I mean, I was a libertarian, but what is a libertarian? But basically, someone who's politically homeless. I wasn't. You know, when I was a kid and I lived in a more liberal area, more blue area, I thought I was, as I was getting aware of politics, I thought I must be a Republican. And then I moved up here around a bunch of Republicans and realized, yeah, I'm not that either. And even now, I mean, I'm still libertarian at heart, but I have very authoritarian right streaks in me as a result of the insanity of the left. I've gone from a Ron Paul libertarian to a Pinochet libertarian. And even pardon me, even as became a Christian, um, I I'm mostly consider myself evangelical. I've primarily gone to evangelical, non-denominational, slash crypto Baptist kind of churches. Evangelicals. You know what evangelicals are. I don't have to explain it to you. It's the most prominent form of conservative Protestantism in North America. But I always identified with the evangelicals mostly. You know, I mean, I'm not. I mentioned I'm not really on board with the pro-life thing. Politically, I don't line up with them in numerous ways. I think their politics are stupid half the time. You know, it's cuckish on race. It's neocon pro-Israel shit. That's the other thing. I don't have the Israel fetish. They do. You know, yeah, I think Israel will probably play a time in end time prophecies, but that doesn't mean I have any obligation to protect them. If God wants them to be there, they'll be there. If he doesn't, then they'll get pushed into the sea. I couldn't give two shits either way. And I really wish my fellow Christians would get it through their head that Jews aren't their friends. Yeah. I mean, yes, individually you may be friends with Jews, I mean, but as a whole, the group, no, Christians, the group doesn't like you. Not really. They use you. So, I'm not on board with that. I'm not on board with the literal creationism. I'm not on board with the Israel fetish. I'm not pro-life. I have numerous social and political differences with them. I didn't grow up in the church. So, there's a weird culture shock when I'm around a lot of them. I mean, I love them. I love them to death. I love my brothers and sisters in Christ to death, but I'm not like them in a lot of ways. And it has caused issues, you know. For the most part, I just back away, when it does. But I mean, it's just even having a sarcastic sense of humor is goes over their heads half the time. I remember years ago, involved in the one church, and I, I went, I was going to small group regularly, much more regularly even than my church attendance, because I actually got a great deal more out of small group. But I had missed it. I had plans or whatever. I'd missed it the one week, so I'm at church, and the one guy, he's one of the leaders of the small group. He was like, "Oh, we missed you in small group Tuesday," and I'm like, "I doubt that, but I appreciate the pretense." And just he just had no idea how the hell to respond to that. I'm never 100% on board, and like politically, I mean, if I'm if I'm if I'm listening to or talking to Wignats, you know, I I probably sound like a fucking cuck. All right. But then if I'm on some message board or some comment thread, with these, colorblind conservatives, I probably sound like a Wignat, because I have this crazy idea that race does indeed matter. It is indeed real. It's just not all that matters. The thing about my beliefs is, because again, I could probably grow this channel if I just got into a little niche. You know, I'll go whole hog fucking pro life. I could probably grow the channel. The majority of my audience is, that's what most of you want to hear. And if I was just here to tell y'all what most of y'all want to hear, but that's not what I'm here to do. Yeah. I don't, maybe it'd be more profitable, but I just don't have it in me. A major reason I continue to do this, yes, it's made me some money, and it continues to make me some money, and I greatly appreciate that. By the way, folks, if you do enjoy the content I put out, do check out the tip jar down below, where you can become a regular supporter on the Patreon, and that's greatly appreciated. Any amount, dollar or more. You can send a one-time donation, any amount, dollar or more, on the PayPal. You can buy me some dumb shit that I like on the Patreon or the Amazon wishlist. By the way, somebody got me a Mega Man air freshener for my car here recently. Thanks a lot. Um, that sounded a little sarcastic. I didn't mean that. Legitimately, thank you. That was cool. Um, Felt like my tone sounded sarcastic there. Did not mean that. I, and also check out the sponsor, Steve's Jerky, because Steve's Jerky is the tits. Highly recommended. But anyways, yes, this has made me some money, and I greatly appreciate that. I mentioned early January that I was going to have to pay for new tires for my car to get it inspected. I had no idea how the hell I was going to scratch that money together. And y'all basically paid for my tires. And, between fan donations and sponsorships and the Patreon and all this other, y'all paid for my tires. Holy shit. I mean, I'd have been able to scratch it together. I'd have survived, but it would have been tight as all fuck, it would have been eating ramen noodles kind of weak there. So this has made me some money. Maybe I could make it a full-time job if I pandered to y'all, but I don't want to do that. And I don't really think you guys don't need that. There's enough people out there that want to blow smoke up your ass. I just want to come out here and be real because it's made me some money. But the other thing I like this for is it's a creative outlet. It's a chance to spew out all the goofy dumb shit that rattles around in my head in a way that is hopefully entertaining and engaging to you all. But like I said, I'm never 100% in a group. I just never am. I just never find myself 100%. It would be nice. It must be nice. I kind of envy those of you who do find yourself completely whole hog in some group. No major disagreements at all. It's got to be nice. That's not me though. That's never been for me. Like I said, I'm not 100% pro-life, and that causes a great deal of strife with many of my fellow Christians. What was it? Somebody on the comments on Facebook said, like I put a Facebook post up today saying that, reiterating the same thing where it's like, I'm not totally pro-life. There's a lot of ways I lean away from that, but I'm leaning more towards it. And again, some of the people, well, fuck you. Oh, damn. Was it one commenter said, you're the root of your problem is you stop believing the Bible at Genesis 1:1. Well, again, I'm not a literal creationist, but it doesn't mean I don't believe Genesis. Just don't interpret it literally. But I'm also a little confused as to maybe I need to crack it open again, but I wasn't aware that Genesis 1:1 said life begins at conception. And I don't think that's what it says. I don't have it right in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that's not what it says. I'm sorry, but y'all pro-lifers, a lot of your arguments suck. A lot of your arguments are ass. Okay, they're ass. Like, what the biggest thing in your favor is right now is the pro-choice movement seems more to people in the middle with no strong opinions, which, by the way, that's what you're fighting over. Okay, that's what you're fighting over, is persuading them. Okay, that's what all fucking political battles are. It's persuading people to join your side so your side outnumbers the other. All right. But to people in the middle, I mean, 10, 20 years ago, the pro-life movement seemed like a bunch of shrieking fucking lunatics. All right. I've told this story on here before once, but years and years ago, this was like 2002. I had a fucking STD scare, like 2002, 2003, some shit like that. And it turned out the girl actually got a false positive from her doctor. So she didn't even have it. But, there was about a week there where I didn't know that. And I was just scared and ashamed and didn't know what to do. So I went to Planned Parenthood for the, oh man, stomach gurgle in there. Hopefully that didn't come up on the mic. But I went to Planned Parenthood in Lancaster City because that's where I could get a free STD test. And they test you for everything on the book, basically. And yeah, I passed. I came out clean. Again, the other person didn't even have. Point is, though, there I was, scared, frightened, embarrassed out of my mind. And I got to walk through a fucking group of shrieking fucking boomers waving pictures of dead fetuses in my face. Now, there's two things here. Number one, the Planned Parenthood in Lancaster doesn't actually perform abortions. The zoning commission in the county was managed to make it so they couldn't do that. Number two, I'm pretty sure if I was pregnant, that would have made the news, dipshit. So yeah, at my most vulnerable, I didn't want you waving a picture of a dead fetus in my face and screaming some nonsense at me. But that's where the pro-life movement was. And apparently that's where sections of it still are. I guess those people never went away. I guess just more fucking rational people joined. But the biggest thing you got going for you right now, pro-lifers, is that the pro-choice movement is insane. They clearly just want to sacrifice babies to Moloch at this point. But it doesn't mean that a lot of your arguments aren't fucking ass. Okay? Just dumb as pig shit's arguments, as far as I'm concerned. As I said before, show me when there's brain activity, and then I give a fuck. Okay? Saying, well, Genesis 1:1. What the fuck is that? That's not an argument. Stefan Molyneux, that's not an argument. All right. Telling me that at the moment of conception, it has all the DNA of that new person. So fucking what? That's blueprints aren't a house. Every cell in my body has all of my DNA. Doesn't mean if I chop my finger off, I have a twin. A lot of y'all's arguments suck. Now, the best thing you can do is just, you want to move people over. I'll tell you how I'm moving over towards you. Just point to the ghoulishness of the other side. The absolute ghoulishness of them. That's your best fucking argument. That's the best you got. Because as I said before, you know what? If I had to pick right now between the status quo and completely outlawing it, I'll completely outlaw it. Because I've had enough of fucking talentless thought, quote unquote, comedians on Netflix singing and dancing about how many babies they killed. That's fucking disgusting. Okay. Yeah. I mean, make actual arguments. And but yeah, like I said, the whole thing had me thinking today, just about how I'm, and that comment, that you'll eventually turn on Forney. That's not a prophecy I particularly like the idea of. And I'm not gonna, it's not exactly what he said, but no, I'm not gonna, Forney and I aren't gonna, friendship end it with Forney. Now Luke is best friend. No, I'm not gonna do that. Forney and I are tight, and I don't even think the criticisms of Forney in that were fair. No, him and I are going to butt heads with stuff. Him and I are going to argue about stuff, but he's not going to lose his shit about it and join a pagan cult. But yeah, it was quite the odd reaction from some folks last night. Somebody says, what should a parent do with a kid that has, I don't know how to pronounce that, but basically a baby born with no brain? Um, those people are bizarre, thinking how brainless babies, but I don't, I don't even consider it a person. I know, like you see the bumper stickers, abortion stops a beating heart and all this other stuff. I don't give a shit if the heart's beating. The heart's just a muscle that pumps blood. Okay. I know we have all the metaphorical symbolism of, oh, my heart, but what you call your heart when you're saying that is stuff that's in your brain. Okay. All those deep emotions and yearnings and shit like that, that's in your brain. Yeah. All the things that make a person is in their brain. If I could cut your head off and somehow keep it alive, you'd still be you. Yeah, there'd probably be some mood differences and some hormone differences because you don't have your balls anymore. You don't have your guts anymore, and that can, you know, the living biome in your guts does affect your mood and all, but you'd still be you. Okay, if I could keep your head alive in a jar, Futurama style, you'd still be you. It would probably be a pretty nightmarish life, and I wouldn't wish it on you, but you'd still be you. So he says, I'd say the brain is more vital than the heart, although both are important. Well, no, what I'm saying is like, your heartbeat isn't you. You can get a heart transplant and you're still you. Okay. You can get a heart transplant. It doesn't make you, it's not like you get a heart transplant and then you fall out of love with your wife or something like that. It's just a pump designed to move blood through you. That's all it is, guys. Yes, it's obviously a part of your body and, but I mean, it's not you. Your brain is you. That's where you are. It's all the you that makes you you. So yeah, like I said, if you now I'm willing to bet you. I'm not a doctor, but I'm willing to bet you there's brain activity before there's a heartbeat. So I guess yeah, a heartbeat is an but yeah, when you had your first love in, I don't know, middle school or something, your first crush, your first major crush, that wasn't your heart. That was your brain. And, a little bit your balls. But yeah, there was another party involved, but it wasn't your heart. So yeah, that'd be where I draw the line. Yeah, and brain activity happens pretty early. I mean, some estimates have it happening at like you know 4, 5, 6 weeks. It's a thinking, feeling being at that point. I mean, so if we're if you used my standard, you'd still outlaw most abortions. Basically, the morning after pill would be the only thing I wouldn't outlaw. I mean, hell, by the time you've missed your period and know you're pregnant, odds are it's too late by my standard. That's the thing, pro-lifers. I'm mostly on your side. You know, I'm just not the right at the moment of conception guy. That one single cell. Okay, I'm not really sure I'd call that a person. Huh. But like I said, this was more just, I mean, like, I have the beliefs I have because I believe, no pun intended, that's what I think is most in line with reality. I don't pretend to think that I'm completely right, but as best as I understand, you know, the universe around me, that's what I base my beliefs off of. And yes, I know I have my biases and I have my temperaments. I'm aware of that, and I'm sure that's obviously part of it. But as best as I'm able, I base what I believe on what I think is true. And that, and I'm willing to just, to have my mind changed on stuff, but you know, pointing and shrieking at me doesn't necessarily do it, guys. I'm not going to sit here and have, and say what I think you guys want to hear. I'm going to say what I think on shit. And if that pisses you off, okay. If it doesn't, it's fine. That's all I know how to do, guys. It's all I know how to do. Well, I think I'm gonna wrap this up because I don't really have anything else to talk about. I just kind of want to get that off my mind. Um, and if you enjoy the show, do consider checking out the tip jar down below. Got the PayPal, Patreon, Amazon wish list. All ways you can support the show, as well as hitting up the sponsor, Steve's Jerky, because it's fantastic jerky, and you're gonna make your life better having Steve. You need Steve's Jerky in your life, and B, when you go support Steve's Jerky because he was a sponsor of the old Bechtloff show, and you tell him Bechtloff sent you, that makes him want to keep being a sponsor of the old Bechtloff show. So everybody wins there. You get some bitchin' jerky. Steve gets to sell you some bitchin' jerky, and I get to tell you about Steve's Jerky on Steve's dime. So that's all just fantastic all around. And also, I invite you to check out social media. We got twitter.com/Bechtloff podcast. No A in the word podcast. That Twitter is run by Luke, but he tweets stuff at my behest. So Facebook.com/Bechtloff. That's another way to stay in touch with the show. I'm going to get us a Discord link here, so I'm stalling for time a little bit. There's also the Discord, obviously. There's gab.com/the Bechtloff, although Gab is dying. Gab is dying really bad here recently. Like Torbo is just running that shit into the ground. It's fucking broken. Like, and then now nobody fucking posts on it. It's nothing but fucking boomers. But gab.com/the Bechtloff. I do post on Gab. So you can follow me there if you're on the Gab. The Discord link I just threw in the chat. And Facebook.com/the Bechtloff and other shit. Lost my train of thought a little bit there. All right, folks, that's about all I got for tonight. I want to thank you all for listening. And as I had this heart to heart with you, my audience, because some of y'all was mad at me. Some of y'all were kind of pissed. I imagine some of you still are. I don't know. That's all I got for tonight, folks. Thanks for listening. Bechtloff out.